Hello you guys, welcome back to another video on this podcast / YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're gonna get in the feels. We're gonna talk about the feels. Me saying that like I'm not always talking about something that has to do with feelings. But no, okay, so if you guys aren't new here, I talk often about how, for most people, YouTube is literally like a digital diary. Like, it's actually pretty nice to be able to look back 2 years at myself in these formative years. I started when I was 21 and now I'm 23. My channel just turned 2. And I talk a lot about how my mind frame and my mental health was so different when I first started, and to just see the change in the content and even like the stuff I talk about or how I talk about them once I'm so far removed from stuff I used to deal with is pretty crazy. And I thought about this feeling before, how I was in therapy when I started this channel. And I remember like when I obviously, if the therapist is good, if she doing her job or he, you progress, like you feel a lot better and you actually feel like the tools and the professional help and the exercises are changing how you see yourself and, anything except changing the things that happen to you, but how you feel about them and how you move through life with them. And I remember at one point I was explaining to my therapist how when I first came in because I was dealing with the past of an abusive relationship, going through sexual abuse and all that kind of stuff. And how when I came in, my self-confidence was so low. I was so just like self-deprecating, anxious, always on edge, sad, just about my situation and myself. And I told her how I was like, something that I think like healing therapy, but of course also just my own growth and, stepping away from situations and putting that crown back on. I was like, I switch nowadays a lot from having feelings of like sadness and like pity for myself to being angry at the people who did stuff or the person, as I went to therapy for. And I remember my therapist saying that she thinks anger or rage is actually a very healthy emotion to process in the healing journey. And I said, oh, so she supports when I choose violence. No, I'm playing. And she does. She does, y'all. My therapist really felt like my homegirl. But yeah, that switch of just feeling sad and carrying the weight of my situations and the things I've been through due to other people's actions, shifting it from like feeling all the weight, like I said, by myself, to shifting probably from, if you've been through anything traumatic or obviously someone harmed you, something like that, which we all have, think about it like as a perspective of the person you're telling or people who care about you. Like, they're not there, like, well, they are worried about you, but their main thing when people you love tells you about stuff like that, they're mad at the person. They're like, why would they do that? Why, like, what is wrong with them? What's wrong with them in the head? Why would someone choose to do that? Any sane person, when someone goes through abuse or something, thinks that, not anything else. But common sense is very common, especially in the media. But going from feeling sadness and overanalyzing and self-deprecating to feeling anger towards my abuser, I think was one of the healthiest points in my healing journey. And when we say anger, a lot of times anger is such a touchy, like, oof, I don't know, don't be angry, don't be this. Like, a lot of us have heard this, right? Anger is obviously an emotion like all the other ones, but it's also a dangerous emotion that we have seen in history play out to be very dangerous. From angry people, harming other people, unaliving other people, causing sides and stuff like that. I felt this feeling myself. I was like, wait, yeah, we need more rage and anger for the people who deserve it though. Because like I said, we've seen so much harm and crazy stuff come from people just being so angry and hurtful and taking it out on people who don't deserve it. But when we send it forward and we have that energy, even if it's not physical energy, like you don't physically go fight someone or harm someone back who harmed you, but just how you write about them, how you speak about it, how you feel about it, like it was just like a full circle for me of like energetically standing up for myself. I feel like it does speak volumes and it does mean something. Honestly, when my therapist told me that, I wish more people were taught this about their anger instead of this forgiveness bullshit. Okay, okay, y'all already know me. Y'all already know me. I'm someone who's not religious. I've deconstructed from Christianity. And a lot of times, especially in America, because that's the main religion and you know, it's what was brought over here for the majority to, no, I'm not even going to say convert to, forced. They forced the indigenous people of this land and my ancestors to believe in it. And I think like this whole forgiveness thing is very, very American. Like, like I said, look what they have done to the indigenous people of this land. Look at what they've done to my ancestors. And the one word is forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. So an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. You can't just blah, 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 blah. I think this country and the history, like I said, of their anger and their rage and their hatefulness, I don't understand why the combativeness, especially when it comes to coming from religion, is forgiveness. We just have to move with grace and forgive people of the past. And if we do this to each other, then blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm really feeling on my Malcolm X shit. I've been watching a lot of videos of Malcolm X this Black History Month because they've been trending too. And like even the stuff he says, it's like that's what they're convincing us like that we're supposed to feel, right? Honestly, these teachings or like they try to put on us are for everyone, but especially for marginalized people. Like I said, just talking about Malcolm X, especially that's how they want Black people to feel. That's how they want people of color to feel. That's how they want women to feel, because like the retaliation when we do have that range creates change. Like, hold on, y'all. Wait, was that a bar? I know I'm straying a little bit from like abuse and like personal stuff, but I also had this in my notes too. No, that because that part is actually so real, especially living in this country, kindness and the eye for an eye, and we just have to forgive. That's the best thing you can do is taught, because when people feel genuine rage, like I said, whether that's on a personal level or whether that's on a political level or whether that's on, you know, any type of level, that's when actually gets done. That's when stuff actually gets done, you know, because we're taught that the best thing you can do is just move on and accept your situation and blah, 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 like stay quiet about the things that bother you. But when people actually feel range and get fed up with that situation, whether that's people who are in abuse, like I said, whether that's my ancestors getting fed up with the treatment in this country, whether it's, you know, it's scary and it disrupts the system. Sorry, guys. No, I'm not sorry. It's Black History Month. I'm not sorry. But I really touched on this before, like, especially me being a Black person born and raised in California too. Black Panthers. Ooh. So it was okay for them to have and shoot us and all this for doing nothing. But then when they came out there with their own blicks to defend themselves, it was, oh my God, why would they do that? No, I'm so scared, blah, blah. But that actually changed things and helped stop my ancestors from getting their beat when they showed that, oh, we not scared anymore either. So what? So what? And like I said, I'm talking about this on different levels, but I've even seen it in a personal level and in other stories of abuse. Well, let's face it, like that literally is abuse. Like the relationship between my ancestors and police and systems of power, it is an abusive relationship. But I'm saying when I see personal abusive relationship, I said I am an abusive relationship survivor. I do read and watch other people's stories. I read books about this. And like that is something I've literally learned from my own experience and from, again, kind of reading and relating to my own personal experience, is like abusive relationships thrive off of fear and isolation. Like I genuinely remember that I feel like I've touched on this before in my abusive relationship. Like anytime I would say an inkling of like feeling uncomfortable, or like, oh, I don't want to do this, or like anytime it would be an inkling of that, it would be two reactions. Either one, the very common abuse reaction of like, you're crazy, what are you like, what are you even talking about, just gaslighting me. Or if it was me wanting to leave, it was all of a sudden like, oh, like what, like tears, 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 waterworks, like I'm so sorry, like I promise I'll stop, I promise, I just want to love you. It's those two emotional reactions of one, like the fear of gaslighting you to keep you in check, or again playing on the heartstrings of like, well, I had no idea I made you feel this way and blah blah blah. In my personal experience, and I've seen a lot of other people's personal experiences, that second one, like when it is the emotions and the pulling on the heartstrings of like, oh well, I'm so sorry, I didn't even know it was this bad, or I blah blah blah. That genuinely, I feel like, because sometimes I feel like it comes from the fear of I feel like it comes from the fear switching from the victim being in fear to them like getting a little bit up and like, oh wait, like getting fed up with the treatment. And then when abusers see signs of that, like, oh, she's waking up a little bit, or he's waking up a little bit, or whatever, then they gotta flip the roles and make you feel like, oh wait, like switch the positions. It's literally, I feel like, power play. This is why when we see people in abusive relationships or systems, like I said, whether it's me in my abusive relationship, or it's, I don't know, a child star in an abusive relationship with their team, or like I said, it's my ancestors and the police and the government and authority. This is why it's so shocking for people to see a retaliation, and so easy to use the label of like crazy, outrageous, out of nowhere. Like none of this stuff is out of nowhere. Like constant abuse and constant cycles, like it literally festers in you. Like it's there, and then it just sits and sits. Like I feel like it's like boiling water. Like it's eventually gonna bubble up. But like I said, when you're in that system, and when you're taught that like for my safety, I have to keep it down, keep it low, whatever. And then you reach that point, it does seem out of nowhere. But it's really not, because it comes from a place of fear. That anger and feeling rage is actually a healthy part of healing, especially for someone like me who's healing from abuse and at that sexual abuse. Not healthy because she wants me to go fight my abuser, or like anything like that, not the harmful ways of history, but it's helpful in the way that it's like, even if I'm not in that physical state, it's like those people finally sticking up for themselves. Like whether it's not physically, if you're physically out of the situation, obviously I was out at the time of therapy, but that kind of abuse and trauma lives in my body energetically, mentally, emotionally for a long time. And I came a long way, but obviously it still does. But it's even in those ways, if it's not physically, like sticking up for myself and like shifting the direction of like, I'm not feeling sad anymore. I'm not feeling grossed out by myself. I'm not any of those things. Like, why am I grossed out by what someone chose to do with me? Like, no, that bitch needs to feel gross. That bitch needs to feel disgusting and ashamed and all these things. And it's like the truth. Like, this is why it's so healthy, because it's like, this is where the energy should be going. And I know some people, again, when it comes to this forgiveness topic, think like, oh, well, any energy isn't good energy, or you shouldn't stay, blah, blah. Who are you? Like I said, especially in situations like mine, people healing from abuse, or like I said, again, on a political stance, on my ancestral stance, like these gigantic relationships are still abusive relationships. Who are you to tell the person being abused, the person or the victim, that they need to forgive and they need to forget? Oh, like I said, I'm a black woman in America. They be telling us that all the time. Who are you? No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. Right. And it's not like it's like a consuming thing where it's like, oh, all I think about is my abuser and how I hate that nigga, blah, blah, blah. No, but it's like the times I do get back in my ways where I feel like I want to start feeling bad for myself, or I want to start feeling disgusted with myself and those things, I automatically have that switch. Like, I don't know if I mentioned it on this channel or not, but I already feel super triggered during holiday season because that's some of my most prominent memories of being abused, which literally sucks. Add to the holiday blues. Yeah, but anyway. But this year in particularly in like September, yeah, I think it was like right before Halloweenish was another time. I have a whole story time on confronting my abuser because he found another way to talk to me and reached out. But if you guys don't know, like the Instagram I always plug is my newer Instagram. I've only had it for a year. And I remember in September, like I found my abuser watching me on that account. Because obviously it's a new account. I didn't have him blocked. And again, and rightfully so, as a victim of SA and stuff, I felt heart racing, anxious. You know, I just blocked him, didn't check to see if he messaged me. I just nipped it in the bud. It was right before work too. And I still went in my shift, which again, I see as a complete change. Like, I know if that was 2 years ago, I would have had a full blown panic attack and just went home. So I'm very proud of myself in that way. But I remember, yeah, like for like about a week, I felt kind of anxious. I felt like, what if he was watching, looking for clues or found something out about me? Or what if? I felt scared. I felt anxious. I had a little panic attack. And then I just remember like feeling like that a couple days again. This healthy emotion of rage and anger shifted where I was like, wait a minute. Why am I feeling scared of this? Like, I'm not the same person I was when I was 19 or 20. I wish you would try it again. Right? First of all, I'd never be in an intimate, alone space with my abuser again. And what the fuck is he gonna do if he sees me in public? What the fuck is he gonna do just because he saw my Instagram? Like, also, when my abuser reached out to me, he reached out saying how he found my YouTube. I can't block just on YouTube. So for all I know, this man could be watching right now. Like, you know, I just shifted that anger and I was like, oh my God, this is so pathetic that I already done told this man off when he reached out to me. I already told him to leave me alone or else and don't speak to me again. And I was like, and he's still finding another way to watch me. Like, I really started getting mad. Like, this is pathetic that you had your time. You did this, you violated me, you did all these things. Like, it's just like pathetic. And then you're still bothering me in some type of way. I just got mad. Like, and I literally remember when I had that epiphany again of like, why the fuck am I being scared? Like, this is actually pathetic. Like, I'm angry that this person did this to me and that they're still energetically being a monitoring spirit. Like, this is lame. And again, I didn't do anything physically about it. I think I just wrote about it. I felt it. And I was like, after I felt that emotion, I literally felt better. I was like, I don't feel anxious anymore. What the fuck I'm gonna be scared of? Like, what? Like, what? And again, I'm so proud because like a couple years ago, that's not how my body and mind would have been able to shift and feel confident and stuff again. So that's really what I feel like my therapist meant by it being healthy. And yeah, something else I wanted to mention about like that feeling is I also think about, even again, like I said, having this YouTube channel and having a place that like has documented my different emotions and different situations and stuff. Well, not all of it, just what I want to share. But still, over the 2 years, is I always think about too how people, like, I love that I'm able to like make people laugh or, you know, like resonate with people or make people be like, well, yeah, I should stick up for myself too. Because I also think I'm like, when I tell these stories, y'all, majority of the times, that's not how I felt when I was in the story. Like, you know what I mean? When I was in the story, I was probably still, you know, a little down bad, a little too patient, a little too nice with my tone. But I was like, yeah, but I talk about these situations the way I do because again, like, especially when I talk about my relationships, in every single relationship, I was way too patient with someone, like I said, some who were abusing me, some who were just disrespectful, rude, dishonest, and I was like, I was so like patient and understanding and all that. So I'm like, yeah. So and even I know, you know, I already called out one bitch, but I already know what the more traction my channel is getting, the more male trolls I'm gonna get about how I'm such a red flag and this is so disappointing. I don't give, like, seriously, to the men who spam like that, I'm like, wait, this is what's wrong with the world, because why do they think their opinion holds any weight? Especially to me. But anyway, I know the reason they comment stuff like this, because again, they don't like to see female rage. They don't like to see, oh, she's so mean, she really, blah, blah, look how the way she's talking about that. Look at how them niggas talked to me when I was in the relationship. So yes, I am gonna call everybody up and do what I want, cause yeah, like I said, this is like the healthy version of my healing. Of like, yeah, now I don't care to soften the blow, to think about and analyze the inner child and what that person's been through. No, like now it's like I'm so cutthroat with men when I'm done with them and how I talk about them, because I was already too damn patient. So you don't get that luxury anymore. And I don't know why bitch ass men on the internet think they deserve luxury when I'm talking about my lived experience. Like I literally made a reel before where I was like, it's so weird how some men are so quick to defend other men. And it's like, you guys are literally arguing about my lived experience. That's crazy. I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos, guys. A man called me evil. This is how I knew I made it. I just gave him a heart, because you ate that. You ate that for real. But yeah, you guys, I bounced from a couple different areas in this YouTube channel, but I know the real ones got what I'm putting down. Rage and anger about mistreatment is healthy, and don't let anybody tell you different. Whether you've been a victim of abuse, whether you're a minority group, whether that's black, brown, queer, like I said, especially in this political state of the world, it is healthy. Like I said, learn from my ancestors, Black Panthers, Malcolm X, all these things. Like, yeah, things would stay the same if people didn't get angry about their mistreatment. So I mean that on a personal level and on a grand one. Shout out to everybody fighting, like I said, whether that's for their own self-worth, because like I said, it's real. It's real. Like I literally have, like I said, consumed so many stories about abuse, and getting angry back is how so many people, especially women, are able to leave abusive relationships, because it shocks them. And like I said, same thing in history. Getting angry back is what gets you your freedom. Shout out to my Haitian brothers and sisters. I would like History Month, Haitian Revolution. Like, what would my Haitian brothers and sisters be free if they didn't all get mad that one day and take their lives back? But yeah, thank you guys for listening to another podcast episode. I hope I said something helpful that you could take away from this video. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.